I know we've stuck on Ben Shapiro a little bit. I get it. There's a reason why. It's easier to express my opinions through this than it is to go through like hour-long videos of recaps of the Senate trial. Recap just right now. Like generally, I won't even like have him on the stream. If you don't know, Donald Trump was acquitted on charges of insurrection. And whether or not you believe he should have been or not, that's not the point. Because if you agree with that he should have been, if you agree that he should have been acquitted, then you disagree with Mitch McConnell's speech. And if you think that he should have been convicted, then you're wondering why Mitch McConnell voted not guilty, as well as a majority of Republicans, because the speech that he gave kind of proved that he was in every way, shape, and form. Made the literal Democratic argument for the Republicans and then said, oh, I can't vote because it's unconstitutional for me, for the Senate to go after somebody who's not a sitting president. As dumb as that is, because that opens the door to, well, I guess any president, if they ever voted out of office, can really fuck shit up in the last month and a half. And as long as they resign in time, they're good. It's chill. It's over. My friends, that did not, in fact, happen as like I wish it did. But the gall of Mitch McConnell to say that afterwards is like, wow, you're really a self-serving slug of shit. Like, wow. Wow, you really said that with your chest, bro. You really said that with your whole chest, homie. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Like, just the audacity of a guy like that saying some shit like that. Wow. Knowing damn well, like, that's the whole point we were trying to make, and you just made it for us. And he's like, well, yeah, but you know, my hands are tied. Like, holy shit, go fuck yourself. Like, wow. You really said that. So, what does I got to do with this? This was posted on February 9th. I just want to see his take on it because his side won, effectively. And I hate when people say, "Oh, haha, Trump won." Like, you guys suck. Trump's 2-0, 2-0 Trump. Like, all right, but you lost in every court case. You still lost the election, and your main man's, the guy that you like use as the reference for everything that you should do, literally said out of his mouth, "Yo, nah, that dude did it. I just don't think we should have the power to be able to do something about it." But that dude did it. Like, he admitted live in front of people that guy's a bad guy. The only reason why we voted no, or the only reason why at least I voted no, was because that shit just don't make sense to me. Like, his reasoning is fucking stupid, and he just let somebody get away with literally murder. But okay. 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 So I want to see like his takes on it.
Is the content likely to be? Well, from the Democrats, what you're likely to hear is how terrified they personally were, and also all of their other arguments, which is that the riots were white supremacy, Trump is a white supremacist. You're likely to hear about how close we were to losing our democracy. In the words of Representative Jackie Speier from California, Democrat, she says, you know, we have to hear during this trial how close we were to losing our democracy. Now, let's be frank about this. We were not close to losing our democracy.
Yes, we were. If they had killed one person there, it would have literally upshot a whole thing in which They would have considered it a threat of national security. They would have considered those people literal insurrection, like literal traitors to the country, and we would have had a whole long thing. And I could see Trump trying to figure out a way to like that's the whole point of why they were trying to get to Mike Pence. He thought, if they take out Mike Pence, like, yeah, I'm sorry to say it this way, but if they take out Mike Pence, like, oh shit, we can use that as an excuse to declare something, and then I get to stay as president. Like, there was a clear goal of why he was egging them on to attack certain people. Like, they just took it and spun it to everybody. But like, it is crazy that somebody was out there with a noose saying, "Hang Mike Pence," and like, you think the Democrats were scared. Not even talking about Republicans, but like the irony that you say the Democrats weren't as in trouble as they were, but yet we have video footage of them literally like being hunted down, Republicans being hunted down, and coming within close contact of that group.
We weren't. I mean, we just weren't. As a factual matter, a bunch of yahoos, idiot criminal yahoos, evil yahoos, running into the Capitol building and putting their feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk. It's ugly and it's terrible and it's bad and it's horrible for the country. That was not us being close to losing our democracy. You know?
What about the people who died? See, like, it's not hard. I don't have to sit here and factually prove him wrong. He's just skipping over like details to make a point. What about the people who died?
Losing a democracy looks like, it sort of looks like what happens in countries all over the world when the military just marches into presidential palaces and starts arresting officials, right? That's what it looks like. At no point was this a coup. A coup is not a bunch of idiots dressed in buffalo horns running into a government building and sitting in somebody's chair. That is not a coup.
So a coup is when military officials go into a governmental building and start arresting officials. That's a military coup. A overthrow of the government is when people do that and start killing people and like taking people out. They're just lucky they couldn't find anybody. But they did find like police officers to kill, and they did kill other people. Like, it's crazy how you're skipping that, because by your definition, oh my God, with what you just said, this would be a coup. Why do people believe in this dude?
By the way, it's not even a coup if somebody goes and tries to murder members of Congress. That is an act of evil, a criminal act of evil. Okay, by the way, we've seen it before. Okay, it is not even a coup when, God forbid, a president is assassinated. We've had that in American history before. That's not a coup either. A coup.
That's not even a false equivalency. That's just something random. That has zero to do with what a coup means. That's like me saying, oh, when somebody takes my iPhone and like changes my passwords and starts posting on my thing, that's not a coup. Duh. See? Hiding behind things that you couldn't ignore as not truth. That statement is true. It just has nothing to do with the point you're making. So you're just throwing in a bunch of shit like, people walking into the Capitol wasn't a coup. My Nintendo Switch is blue. That's not a coup. Like, thanks. But what's your point? Oh, God, we got to go back to it. No, where is it?
What's your point? What's your point? What's your point?
Oh, it stopped playing. Thanks.
What's your point?
Like, hello?
Specifically speaking, is when one regime is exchanged for a more legitimate regime through the mechanisms of institutional power generally, right? That's when you have the military that intervenes on the behest of one political party, for example, and then ousts a sitting democratically elected person, for example. That is the nature of a coup. This was not a coup. We were not close to losing our democracy. How not close were we to losing our democracy? Within hours of these morons jumping into the Capitol building to make trouble and videotape themselves for their Instagram. Congress was back in session, ratifying the election and making Joe Biden the president of the United States. So, yeah, we were not close to a coup. But again, the lie has... What's amazing is that you don't actually have to do this. I mean, seriously, Democrats don't have to do this. I said this the day of. This could have been a unifying moment, that lies are bad, and people believing lies is really bad. and people then acting on those lies to do violent and terrible damage is really, really bad. We can all be on the same side of all those questions, but instead it's, well, Donald Trump tried to launch a coup and he was barely thwarted. No, he wasn't. He was not barely thwarted. You know how I know he wasn't barely thwarted? Because on January 20th, he didn't attend the inauguration and Joe Biden became president of the United States. So that's how I know he wasn't barely thwarted.
I knew he wasn't barely thwarted because Joe Biden won and got into it was sworn in as president. So like shit got so bad that we thought it wasn't going to happen and it just got through. Therefore, it hold up. I gotta reopen that tab. Hold up. Wait, I gotta hear that.
What
again.
exactly is the? We're not close to losing our democracy. How not close into the Capitol building to making Joe Biden the president of the United States? So yeah, we were not close to a coup. But again, the lie has. What's amazing is that you don't actually have to do this. I mean, seriously, Democrats don't have to do this. I said this the day of. This could have been a unifying moment. We can all be on the same side. Political party, for example, and then oust a sitting democratically elected person, for example. That is the nature of a coup. This was not a coup. We were not close to losing our democracy. How not close were we to losing our democracy? Within hours of these morons jumping into the Capitol building to make trouble and videotape themselves for their Instagram. Congress was back in session, ratifying the election and making Joe Biden the president of the United States. So yeah, we were not close to a coup. But
if they had killed one of them, was yards away from one of the people.
Again, the lie has. What's amazing is that he lies to do violent and launch a coup, and he was barely thwarted. No, he wasn't. He was not barely thwarted. You know how I know he wasn't barely thwarted? Because on January 20th, he didn't attend the inauguration, and Joe Biden became president of the United States. So that's how I know he wasn't barely thwarted. It's just the exaggeration is unnecessary, and it really does demonstrate that what this really is about for a lot of folks, as always, is the PR, right? We have a
what? Huh? He was barely thwarted because literally he exhausted the most damaging thing that he could do, inciting a mob to kill people that didn't believe that he was duly elected and that he didn't lose the election. And they just got out of earsight and eyesight of the people they could have killed that would have stopped the certification because, government officials have just been killed by a fucking mob. Holy shit. That's not even a bad faith argument. That's just straight up bullshit. Like, good night. That's it for that segment.